You are listening to Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast, a podcast where we believe wrestling is a buffet and there's something there for everyone. Make sure you're following us on all social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook under Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2 Heels and a Face. Make sure you check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com.
Era, 2 heels and a face.
Thanks for listening. I screwed that one up. Thanks for listening to this episode of Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast. On today's episode, we got a debate lined up. Right, that is happening at the end of this 3-part episode. You could say 1 guest, 3 parts. A debate is happening. Sting versus Lex Luger. Sometimes friends, sometimes enemies. I am going to be the advocate for Sting. Our guest, who we will introduce, is going to be the advocate for Lex Luger. Plus, Black Label Pro running in Berwyn this Saturday, the 29th, I believe. Hopefully, you're listening to this before then. Chris?
Too cold, too hold.
Too Cold Scorpio is going to be there. And the person who we will introduce is very connected. He is Mr. BLP. But Chris, before we kind of get into all these shenanigans that I've come up and the weird inner parts of my brain that make up this agenda, how you doing, man? Good to see you. I like your Legends of the Hidden Temple sweatshirt you got going.
Thank you. It's an old hoodie, just decided to bring it back. We're slowly fading away. At least I want to think so. We're fading into the hotter days of Chicago. So the last few times I can wear a hoodie and not worry about going outside and being cold. At least that's what I tell myself. So happy to be here, happy to do this. And I mean, I guess I'm very neutral in this Luger Sting debate that we will see upcoming, but happy to talk about BLP, happy to have our guest. And it's also cool to talk about a promotion that doesn't often run out of Berwyn. Right,
yeah,
the Berwyn Eagles Club, a venue that's dear to our hearts. So, having BLP joining the Berwyn Eagles Club will be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that like BLP now, I feel like is Mikey. Mikey is our guest. In case you haven't figured that out already, BLP Mikey.
Let's
promoter.
Let's bring in Mikey. He's been waiting in the green room.
We're kind of talking about him, and he's standing next door, so we bring him in.
Here, come on in, Mikey. Hey.
Hi,
Mikey from BLP.
Thanks for joining us, Mikey.
I'm here.
So what I was saying was I think I think that's where what's kind of stuck out to me, and I was like, we should really have Mikey on because we never had before. You guys are how many years old now, Black Label Pro?
We turned 6 in September.
Look at that. I mean, I think as old as like what year did you guys start running? Was it 2018?
No, 2017.
2017. Okay, so that's when this podcast started. So we're about the same age in terms of what we've been contributing or putting out there into the independent scene. And I feel like BLP has always been kind of one where like Chris and I have wanted to do more and talk about more. We started with like an overload, right? We were doing a show a week and we were going to too many shows out here. We were going to like 4, like there would be like 4 or 5, maybe like at least like 3 or 4 in a month we were going to.
I used to live that life. I did it too.
Yeah, I feel like you got some tenure on you in terms of like a lot of the old school stuff, probably a lot of the old indie scene. This was just a couple years for us, and that's why I think we got kind of burnt out, and then the pandemic hit. And now we've slowly
that changed everything. The pandemic changed everything. Yeah. And if you guys couldn't tell, Charlie was calling me old right there, which is he's saying in a nicer way, but he's still an asshole. But so I want you to know that I did notice that. So thank you.
Okay. But I feel like even in following, you're a good Twitter follow. Even in like I think what you tweet about. Well, you tweet a lot about Monday Night Wars WCW.
Not particularly. I do occasionally. Okay. That is to me, that's a very overrated era, the Attitude Era, to me personally, because as I'm 40 years old, so I'm old. So like 91 through 93 is like my sweet spot. Like
Okay.
that's what I like to talk about like most of the time. And then I mean I liked it, but all that stuff like ages so poorly. And like all those people, like with the exception of Gangrel, who's awesome, they're all like just such dumb pieces of shit now that you want nothing to do with. Like Val Venus, like if you guys ever want to like just see what the saddest person in the world is, like add Sean Morley on Facebook, and I swear to God, you'll just be so depressed
Oh
because he's
no.
such an ignorant piece of shit. So whatever.
I feel like we got some
On a
stories.
positive light, though, you had Gangrel, right?
Gangrel's been at BLP a few times, and he
Mhm.
actually cannot say when, but he does have another date this year. So
Cool.
Nice.
yeah, we love Gangrel and D'Lo Brown too. I can't forget about D'Lo.
Yeah. And so, yeah, what I was basically trying to say is like, at first we were just overwhelmed, couldn't really. We maybe could have fit BLP into like talking about you guys more, but I think we would have driven ourselves insane in terms of like
Of course,
what we were
I,
trying.
I think
We were last place
No,
to you
no,
guys.
it's just
It was
no,
great.
we went out
It
to
was great.
the first shows, the tournament.
we
Like, you
did.
guys opened up for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tournament.
All right, hey, thank you for the support. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we
I
talked about it.
appreciate
We
it.
made the drive out there, and it
That's
was pretty
true.
fun. It was both days, back to back, I believe.
That's true.
That's and the other day I was like looking at results because like it's like my memory is so terrible. Like I forgot about like so much stuff that has happened in BLP. I'm like, what? That match happened here? And it's like I wrote it, like, but I don't remember a lot of the stuff. And on that very first show, which was like September, I think it was September 22nd or 23rd of 2017, was GPA was on that first show. And for some
Okay.
reason I have no memory of it. And I actually like him. Like I think he's good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why have I just not used him in 6 years? Because I genuinely think he's very talented and stuff like that. So that was actually a thought I had today. So yeah, he got married. Congratulations.
Yes. Yes. Congrats to
Congrats,
GPA.
Delaney and GPA.
Yeah, oh,
It's
and Delaney too, sorry.
Yeah, of course. Has it been like kind of how have these 6 years been? Has it been kind of a blur, or there is
Oh,
it
definitely,
okay?
because like it's like a roller coaster trying to
Okay.
operate a promotion because you have like events that you think are great, and then you have events that you don't think are as great, and then like the pandemic,
Mhm.
uh it like
Yeah.
changed things because we had to start doing things a little differently to try staying afloat with all that stuff, and then we got into switching to fight was like a big game changer. And
Okay.
um yeah, it's just you kind of got to roll with the punches on it. Like there's people that like there's people in wrestling that you think are the greatest people, and then you find out they're not, which sucks. But then there's people that you kind of don't know, and then you get to know them, and then they're amazing. So like you never know.
That's cool. It seems like it's a double-edged sword in that
Oh,
way. Yeah.
it absolutely is, but it like it's worth it. Like the ride is worth it for sure.
That's kind of what I wanted to ask was why it seems super tough to run an indie promotion where it's like obviously like margins are thin and stuff. Like you're doing it because you love it, but like
Of course, of course.
why start BLP? What was running through your mind of like I want to put myself in this situation?
There's two things,
Okay.
okay, and I talk about them all the time. Number one was I loved AAW, and they wouldn't book Dasher Hatfield, and I thought that was crazy
Okay.
because I think he's so fantastic. And I was like, why won't they book Dasher Hatfield? That's kind of odd. And then I was like, oh well, I did because I did this before, like in like 2007. I had a couple of shows, and I was like,
Oh,
oh
really?
yes, it's called Fight Sports Midwest. Like they were like big super shows, and
Okay.
they're fun, but like um so I stopped doing that then because my mom got sick, and I was like really young too. I was like 22. So like now, then I was like, you know what, I could do this. Let me try. And then I just got the ball rolling, and like I knew Tom Lawler, so I was like, hey Tom, let's do this, and we just kind of started going,
Okay.
and it kind of picked up steam pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have done so much, and Tom's kind of been like your rock, right? I feel like he's
Oh
built.
yeah,
He's
he
Mr.
he is
BLP kind of.
he's the A. I'm Mr. BLP. Fuck you, Tom. No, like and Tom, if you're listening to this, I'm gonna kick your ass soon. We still have our backyard fight we're eventually gonna have. Um,
Okay.
but yes, like yeah, he's for sure the rock of BLP. Like he's been there from the beginning. Just always a pleasure to have around. He helps people in the locker room. He's the best.
And I gotta ask, where
Go ahead.
does the name BLP come from? Black Label Pro.
Black Label is like top shelf. Like that's how I looked at it. It was like,
Okay.
Mm.
and it's funny because when we first started planning this, like my wife Jessica and I, like we started planning this thing. Like I kind of saw it as like a different like Black Label. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have like Ring of Honor type like great matches, and it's gonna be serious. But then like as I was putting the shows together, I was like, that's not me at all. I like to do fucking crazy shit. So like so instead, like I found Manny Fernandez. Like I found him on Facebook, and we brought him in like real early. And then
Yeah.
I found uh I called him Quebecer Pierre at the time, but who became PCO,
Yeah.
and he was PCO. Like he did a match for us, and Joey Janela was there, and like Joey will even tell everyone like that's where he saw him, and he called Brett Lauderdale and said like, hey, we need to get this guy on spring break to wrestle Walter. So it's like it all started
Nice.
like in December of 2017, like in Crown Point. It's crazy.
How
Like
many
The
how many Facebook friends do you have that are wrestlers that have been in like WWE? It seems like Facebook has been a recruiting tool for you.
yeah, well, I mean, you'd be surprised like how many people are on there. And then also,
Okay.
like I said, I didn't say it on air, but like I do
Yeah.
like signings and stuff,
All right.
for autographs, and uh so like you find a lot of people that way too. Like, and then like me, I just love old wrestling, so much. So I like found like Wendell Cooley, like an old like Southern wrestler, and like I forgot to even talk to him about autographs because I was just like, hey, what was it like working with blah blah blah, and like I just get all excited about that because and like I can't bring these people into BLP because like no one knows who they are. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to, and
the
then
first
also
time that I heard the name Marco Stunt was at
yes.
BLP.
Yes, we did like because like I've always been good friends with Brian Alvarez, like a F4W,
Okay. Yeah.
and so he did stuff with my old company too, like my Fight Sports Midwest. He did stuff with Larry Sweeney, who's fantastic, and so then we kind of like wanted to bring Brian back for something, and he just loved Marco because Marco was so small, and
Mm-hmm.
and Marco's a great friend of mine still to this day. He's having some injuries and stuff right now, but like just the best guy, good guy.
I remember in reminiscing on the Darkest Timeline championship. That was
Yes,
like that card was an amalgamation of things. It had like current indie plus you brought in older guys from the start, right? There was the guy that had he wore like white and he had slick back hair.
Mordecai.
Mordecai,
Mordecai.
yes.
Yeah, it's Kevin Ferdig. Like we ran an event at Squared Circle Expo, like last,
Oh,
like it was like the 9th or the 7th, I think it was, of this month, and then like I was doing all my autograph stuff, so like I was just going around the convention, and like I looked up and we saw each other, and he was like, "Hey man," and we like caught up for like a half hour. He's the best guy. He's like a really successful like real estate agent because
oh
like he
wow.
has like a really good personality too. Like so he's like the kind of guy you want to buy a house from, and he also was like a fucking vampire at one point, like in ECW. So like he's awesome.
It was a little. I remember Chris and I going to that show, and we just had and looking at the card and not knowing what it was going to be. It was like it was a toss up of expectations. I think we had a really
Oh
good
yeah.
time, but yeah, I think you,
Ernest the
like you
Cat
said,
Miller was there too,
Yeah,
I
Ernest
believe.
Miller. That was yeah, the first of two times I have used Ernest the Cat Miller. Uh like people like cuz like I have these relationships with these old wrestlers because of the autograph stuff. So people are like, "Oh, I tried getting them, man. They won't work." And I'll just like hey man, do you want to come here to Crown Point, Indiana? And they're like, yeah, let's go, like let's do it. And then you just get them a plane ticket and then they show up. Like that's and yeah, Ernest Miller, he did something with Ethan Page, but like when we did like the joint GCW show, he
Okay.
wrestled Janela, and like they tore it up too.
That's
He and
awesome.
Joey.
I love that. I feel like that your personality shines through in just what you want to do, and that's kind of cool because like that's kind of cool about, and you know the people will like it too, or there's like a niche of people who will like it. Like, yeah, who else brings in, and that makes you different. Who else brings in Ernest Kent Miller? Obviously, like you said, no one. So it's kind of cool that you're able to like, you can tell your creative spin is on it. I'm sure that's pretty fulfilling as well.
Well, yeah,
So,
like I love old wrestling. Like we have
mhm.
like a show upcoming in Crown Point, like in June, called Fancy Wrestling. We did it last year. This is Fancy
Oh
Wrestling
That's
right,
2.
right. Yes.
And it's where I wore a tuxedo. I'm gonna get one again this year. And it's like literally like because in the olden days people would dress up for these shows. So like we just tried like we're just trying to do something different, like a different kind of wrestling, like a different
yeah.
style. So it's all it's all a learning curve still. Still trying to figure it all out, but I'll keep going.
How is Tyler? How Tyler's been a huge help, I think, or no?
Yeah, yeah.
This was your
Occasionally,
chance to
yeah.
say no.
Yeah,
I was trying
yeah.
to set you up, but to squash
No,
him,
no,
but yeah.
I'll be nice. I'll be
Okay.
nice.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Go
what
ahead.
takes BLP to Berwyn?
Yeah.
Okay. I've always loved that building. Like I thought it was
Okay.
awesome. And
Same.
I used to go to Shimmer a lot, and
Mhm.
Okay.
um like there was like the match I called the child abuse match, and it was like Jack Swagger against like Michael Elgin was in Berwyn.
Oh
Like,
no.
and it was like the funniest size difference in the history of time. Like it was like I swear to you, like Elgin could have like stood straight up and licked Jack Swagger's belly button. Like it was that much of a size difference. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. But that was like another iconic Berwyn thing. But like I've always wanted to run there, and it's like, a lot of people like in Crown, like people since the pandemic, like I felt like people don't want to drive to Crown Point sometimes. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna try, and if we're gonna try in like the Chicago area, I want to do it at the building. I want to do it at the one I love. So,
Sure.
so I called them up, and they're like, "Hey, we've wanted you guys for a while," which we had heard from them before. So,
Okay.
so I was like, "All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's get in there and see how it goes."
I
And
love
and
it.
t- and, and tickets are moving great. Like I'm, very pleased with that.
Okay.
I expect a decent walk up too. So, um, because I remember when I used to help with other shows before, like almost every Berwyn show had a walk up because that's just like
Mhm.
people decide day of.
Yeah. And we'd be remiss, right? So the Berwyn Eagles Club, the 2 p.m. start, April
Yes.
29th.
Yes, yes. And the people, if you're nervous about going to Impact is like running in Cicero, which that was one of
Okay.
the reasons why I chose Berwyn, because it's like 10 minutes away,
It's next
maybe
door, yeah.
15. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
like
it's so
so
close.
so you could go, like we'll be done by roughly, 5-ish or something like that. There's 11 matches, which is, that's the BLP style. But like, it's gonna be, you know, go 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 the whole time. It's going to be awesome, and like um yeah, and people will like be able to make it over to Cicero, like like if doors open at 6 or whatever, people are going to be able to make it over there in 10 minutes. They'll be there by 5:30.
Yeah. BLPberwin.com.
Yes, that's where you get
BLPberwin.com.
tickets. Please get tickets. Come meet Too Cold Scorpio. I got a bunch of cool pictures for him to sign, and I have pictures of myself that I'm gonna get for myself, like to get signed too. So it's
Cool.
all it's all good.
And the state of BLP right now, are you guys you're just focused on putting on good shows, being different, anything like is there any other plans besides like fancy wrestling, like you said, or anything else?
Well,
But
yeah, like it's yes, I'm just trying to put on the best shows, but I'm also like, there's a shift in talent too. Like,
Okay.
there's contracts are coming for, a bunch of people. So you got to build people. Isaiah Moore, Twist and Flip, Rachel Armstrong, all of them. Like, they're all they're all like hungry talent right now.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's a great transition to get
Yes,
into the
yes,
card. So,
yes.
Chris, I think you put it on the screen. Look at Chris
Oh,
is
there
at
we
the
go.
helm.
I'm already
There we
I'm
here.
go.
going
We
to.
we are missing a match. The
Okay.
match we will start with that match that we are missing because I just added it today. It is Brogan Finley against Matt Brannigan. So it is
Sounds very Irish.
it's Hog versus Brog. That's
Okay.
that's what I call it. It's a one-on-one match. And yeah, because I had to switch things around because there's injuries that we were dealing with, certain people. So like, we switched things around, and I think like I saw Matt Brannigan have a singles at our Squared Circle Expo show, and like I was like, oh, he can go, man, he can go. A little
Okay.
little run in right there.
Yeah. So I'm going to list off some other ones, some other matches that I
Sure.
know of. Or we could. Oh, we could do
It's all
that.
good.
Just
We
move
could-
them
we
around.
could let's start from the bottom right. I'm gonna do this. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Shazza McKenzie versus Lee Moriarty. This is a match that they both wanted. They've been asking for this for like a better part of a year.
Okay.
So it's just like, when I found as a promoter, when two people ask for a match, that you're going to get better results because they both won it. So, and it's like also they always say like, styles make matches, and that's what's going on with this. It's like they they like kind of have different styles, but like I think it's going to mesh really well, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, no, it's cool to take it. I think you take it. I don't know if Shaza has moved here or not, but
Yes,
okay.
she tweets about it about 4 times a day. She lives in the
Okay.
St. Louis area, and
Okay. Yes.
she's available for bookings. So everyone should book Shaz McKenzie.
Absolutely. And it's cool. I know Lee is a bit BLP faithful for sure, but
Yes.
I don't think a ton of independents are using him at this time. So I feel like that's one who
Well, I mean, because he's under AEW contract.
exactly. So
So
this is a
like,
really big draw.
yes, certain talents are only allowed to work certain places. So, luckily we have, a good relationship with those guys. So it all works out with the AEW stuff usually.
Yeah. It's cool that
Uh,
he's chosen to kind of like make BLP an exception to that. Because I think you can
oh, of course.
choose
I mean, yeah,
certain.
he's
Yeah.
a great human being, like,
Yeah.
and such a fantastic wrestler. Like, he's just like, if he's someone you just want in the locker room, like, for sure, just an awesome guy.
Awesome. I see the Bang Bros have an opportunity to actually wrestle two cold Scorpio, so that's really cool
Yes,
opportunity
yes.
for them.
Well, it's like, we kind of joke about it. Trevor as well. The Bang Bros and Jordan Oliver teamed when we were in Nashville, for our Nashville event at Starcast.
Okay.
So, and they went up against, it was like Speedball and uh maybe Cole, but like I know Crash Jackson hit Trevor in that match, and they are also going to have a match on the show, which is fine.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, this is like, to me, Scorpio will have Trey Lamar and Isaiah Moore, who are both like up and coming, flyers. And like I feel like
Yeah.
teaming with him, they could learn so much. Jordan is like the top of his game right now. Like, there's not many people better than him right now. And then when it comes to teams, I mean, who's better than the Bang Bros right now? I don't I don't see anyone better than them. So I just think that this is a potential show stealer for sure.
I think the Bang Bros are kind of doing their This is almost like their belt collector window, where everyone's like, "Yes, these are our guys. Let's make them the champs," and like they deserve it and have earned it. So I
Oh
feel like
yeah,
they got titles with you and Freedom, like, and I feel like they could really insert themselves into any promotion. They're just
oh
that
for
damn good.
sure, for
Dan
sure.
the Dad, who won our parody bracket, the buffet bracket, because wrestling is a buffet. That's our gimmick, and our slogan, whatever you want to call it. And Dan the Dad was voted the best comedy wrestler for this year's buffet bracket against
He's
Steph DeLander, who I don't really know.
Steph DeLander has been doing a lot lately with Matt Cardona. She is known
Okay.
as his heater. She's been helping him like around like AIW and GCW and all that stuff. But like I have known her for years. She was in WWE as Persia Parada, I think, or Persia Parada. But ever
Okay.
since she left there, she's back. She's back home at BLP, and she tweeted out that she wanted to match with Dan because she, and I quote, has daddy issues. So I look forward to this match. It's gonna be great.
What are you? I'm assuming you have a high opinion on Dan the Dad as well. Then, just as
Oh yeah, like yes, I will. I think he's one of the best people in wrestling. We get along great. He's also him and Kevin Koo have along with Tom have been there since the beginning.
right.
So yeah, I have a lot of love for Dan the Dad. Sometimes when I need someone to get their ass kicked, I very much miss Danny Adams. But hey, we have Trevor
Okay.
Outlaw.
Yeah. Who's yeah, we might skip his match later, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Alec Price versus Cole Radrick. I'm not sure who
Ye-
Alec Price is. It looks like he's wearing a hockey jersey.
Oh, Alec Price. That like I feel bad for you that you don't know who Alec Price is. He is like in a year he'll probably be like one of the biggest wrestlers like
Really?
anywhere. He's fantastic. This is a number
Wow.
one contenders match. Winner is going to get a title shot against the winner of Billy Starks and Sky Blue. So we will see how
Okay.
that pans out. And speaking of, you are also panning out on this photo. So there you go. Um, let's go with Shigehiro Irie against
yeah.
Josh Bishop.
I feel like we're playing Jeopardy, and you're just kind of so. Just keep going. You're on
Yes,
a roll.
yes.
You're
Okay.
just picking what you want.
Hey, I know I'm just going. Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it.
Bishop is like the best big man there is in wrestling. The fact that he does not have a contract somewhere is like fantastic for me, but it's a fucking crime because he's
Okay.
so good. No one has the intensity he has. He's just exciting. He'll do anything. He's great in the locker room. He's hilarious. Like this guy could do anything. And Irie is obviously world class, world traveled.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
fantastic. I very much like this is a big boy match, and I look forward to it very much. Um, Billy and Sky is for the BLP championship. Billy Starks, who is an asshole. She is mean to all the children at BLP. She is mean to all the fans that believed in her at BLP.
Oh my
She
god.
uh, she told them all. She had everyone convinced that she was a good person, that she was nice. And then one day she was wrestling Rachel Ellering, pretended like she hurt her neck. Rachel went to check on her, and she screwed her over and screwed all the fans over. She's been cheating and winning ever since. And like we
Oh
just
my
can't
god.
stand that damn Billy Starks, little
I didn't know
shit.
she was so dastardly. I thought she was like an innocent kid,
Oh
but
yeah,
no.
see, yeah, you think that. You think that.
We got fooled.
But yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But when she when she turned on the fans, she was a 17-year-old, teenager, female teen. Like how nice are teenage girls? They're all mean to each other. And
That's true.
now like she's just mean to everyone though. She yells at me all the time. And
I'm sorry.
Sky is very kind. A nice person, wholesome. You know, she's gonna win the title for the fans. That's what she's been telling everyone. She's gonna win the title for the fans. So it's literally good versus evil in this
Yeah.
because Billy Starks is evil, literally, and Sky Blue is like a blue sky of hope for all the BLP fans. So
Oh, that was nicely put. And I feel like another one who I think is signed with AEW, but it's nice that she comes to visit,
yes,
do BLP.
of course.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, Crash Jackson against Trevor Outlaw. See, Trevor kept
Yeah, let's talk
complaining.
about this guy.
Yeah, he kept complaining. Okay, that hey, I want a singles match. I could fight anyone. Well, Crash Jackson is a bad motherfucker who doesn't like Trevor, and he punched him in Nashville. So Trevor knows what he's getting into with this guy, but he still wants to fight him. But I do not have high hopes for Mr. Outlaw.
He's done. Crash Jackson has done what I feel like everyone kind of thinks about doing from time to time, and that's given one right to Trevor Outlaw's suckhole, as he calls it. Right?
Yes, right in the kisser, right in the breadbasket.
Sandra Moon, I think, was recently on Pro Wrestling Enforcer podcast, I believe. I feel like that's the name that's been popping up a lot more recently around here.
With the podcast?
I think she was on Pro Wrestling Enforcer, I want to say, unless I'm really just completely
Is that like
up.
Is that like a YouTube show, or is that another podcast?
It's another podcast local to Chicago. Yeah.
Big fan.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's great that she was on there. Yeah, she is from Vegas. She's very talented. We've been kind of like bouncing back and forth of trying to like line up dates to get just like that. We're trying to get the top talent into BLP. That's the thing, because to me, it's you could see the same old people all the time, or you could kind of try rotating people in and see what they could do.
True.
And see like how the fans love them. Like Freelance, I will give them props. They kind of took a chance on Brian Keith with flying him in and stuff like that. And
definitely.
And he's beloved, and he's a great wrestler, great guy. He actually because he's a cowboy, he actually wrestled the Cowboy James Storm at our Nashville show because I'm a lunatic, and I made sure that happened. And Rachel Armstrong, you guys probably haven't seen her. She is fantastic.
Okay.
She wrestled Sue Young for us at the beginning of the month in Indianapolis at Square Circle Expo. She's all heart. She's so good. And I genuinely think these ladies are going to have such a fantastic match.
Yeah. Looking forward to that for sure. Because I just have heard really just good things about Sandra Moon, honestly. So it'll be cool to see more of her. And then Frank the Clown has snuck his way onto this card. I can see him lurking in that corner.
No, he showed up at the end of the Rumble. Okay. And him and Alice Crowley and Levi, they're all connected now. And Levi, he was a sweet Amish boy. I'm telling you,
another sweet Amish boy here, and
corrupted.
Yeah, and
like Frank the Clown.
Frank corrupted him. And I went up to Levi and I was like, "Hey man, why are you acting like this?" And you know what he said to me? He said, "Get out of my face, you jerk." And I was like, "Hey, I did not like that." And
the Amish are supposed to be nice.
Yes. And I was like, and I thought he was gonna swear at me, but he is still Amish, so he didn't. And I was like, "Hey, you need to stop. You're acting like a real ass." And you know what he said? He said, "Not in front of the lady," because Alice was there too, because she's also an ass now too with Frank. So just watch out for those people.
He's got a weird, honestly, if you look at the people that he has managed or manipulated or tried to form into a faction just within the Midwest, I feel like there's no bounds. It could be, and pull out your list of characters of people, and Frank, I feel like, can find a way to convince that person to try and turn to the dark side. It's really weird.
Well, if Well, Charlie, if I could be frank, I think he's a real jerk.
You could be frank. You're Mr.
I,
BLP. And we're
I
talking
don't.
about
I'm
BLP.
telling you, I just don't like the guy. Okay.
No, that's
So
fair.
yes, so we'll see what happens. And he turned on Calvin. Okay, they were friends, and he's beat up Calvin
Right.
twice now. So this is no DQ. Calvin wants a piece of his ass, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens in this no disqualification match this Saturday afternoon in Berwyn, Illinois, at the Berwyn Eagles Club, guys.
That's right.
Do you need to take a breath? I think you just kind of you plowed through that card with pace, but it was there you go. Very good job, Mikey. You sold me.
Thank you. Everyone, buy tickets. This is a fantastic card. And there's one other match that we have not announced yet.
It is.
We don't know what it is yet exactly.
There you go. Wrestling is a buffet.
Yes.
There is a lot of different stuff on here. I mean, pick your
poison.
There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of big personalities on this card for sure.
All right.
Aren't
we going to talk about like a quiet personality soon when you're talking about Sting?
Quiet?
Alrighty.
Your man is very loud. Mikey, what is like before we get into that? What is? Give me your dream. Like I know you probably have a bunch of these, but like, who is your golden goose in terms of like, I really want to just bring this person in and put him against this person because I have just the wackiest idea. Like, what is that? What are some things you're chasing? Like some wrestlers you're chasing?
Well, obviously, like Monty Brown.
Okay.
You know, I want the alpha male, of course. Like he's one that I actively try to get. Too Cold Scorpio was one that like it was kind of years in making. We did like the GCW joint show, but like that doesn't count. Like I wanted him on like a BLP solo show. There's a lot of the old school wrestlers that still do stuff that I'm not going to say their names right now because I've like just found on Facebook.
Dude, that is a tool.
That they still do matches like on these little shindies, and like I want to take advantage of that, and I will. And if I say it here, you guys have millions of viewers, so
millions.
Like what will happen is like someone else, some other son of a bitch will hear me, and they'll be like, hey, I'm gonna steal that first, and they're gonna take it from me, and I don't like that.
I feel like you got a future. You got like some sleeper cells, some sleeper tricks that you're going to.
No, I'm about sleeping right now because it's the middle of the night for me.
Well, I hope you're not too tired because.
Oh no, we're about to.
Yeah. Throw down.
Yeah. Yes, we are throwing down. I'm about to hit you with a steel forearm right in the fucking face.
Oh yeah, steel forearm. Yeah, that's really only Lex's one in-ring move, right? It was probably just lariats. Okay, so for the listeners, there you go. Wait, we need maybe the BLP.
I mean, like I can't even look at that picture without being like. Because it's like, oh yeah.
Yes. So Sting is my favorite wrestler. I think if you listen to this podcast, you've known that. I think I've been very honest in the past about Sting, what he thrives at, what he doesn't thrive at. No wrestler is perfect, but I'm a huge mark for Sting. Mikey tweets a lot of Sting slander.
It's more Bret Hart. Like It's more Bret Hart. It's just like it's not my fault that like Sting tries to be Bret Hart. But okay.
Just you turn the other way on the Scorpion Deathlock, right?
I'm sorry?
You turn the other way on the Scorpion Deathlock.
Oh, it's better. It's better. The sharpshooter is a trash move.
We can find common ground there. But who's the better wrestler, Sting or Lex Luger? I'm representing Sting. Mikey's representing Lex Luger. This idea came from conversations, just following Mikey in conversations with Tyler, I think, and we're like, there is a
in
format.
My defense, Yes, like I learned this format when I got on here, guys. So like I am sure yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure that young Charles has all this research and I'm just gonna be shooting from the hip about sexy Lexi and I'm
Okay.
gonna whip him. Okay.
Okay. You
All
can call
right.
me
So
Young
according
Charles. I've never
to
been called that.
the format here, um, it'll be a minute each. Like you'll state your case for why Luger or Sting is the best wrestler. I will time it. I will give I'll time the 1 minute and then let you know when your time's up.
Wait.
Um,
No, it says it's the first is Mikey gives an opening statement, right? That's the first
Yes.
minute.
yes, you're right. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so following the agenda
I
here
might
that
have
Charlie
made
put
it too
together.
structured. I might have
It's
made
it's
it
all
too structured.
it's 100% like yeah, let's I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, so
Let
all
him
right,
know.
Mikey, I'll give you the floor, and you open up, with your opening statement about why Luger is the
Ladies
best.
and gentlemen of the wrestling jury, I'm here to talk about Lex Luger, okay? The man that came in with almost no experience. He had minimal training and he became a horseman like right away. And he was learning. He learned from Ric Flair. He learned from the best wrestlers. And by 1989, Lex Luger was the greatest wrestler in the world. By 1989, he had such fantastic matches then. And then he evolved. He kept evolving. He always looked great. He never got fat and pale like certain other wrestlers we're talking about. He always looked fantastic from beginning to end. And you know what? I don't even need any more time. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's my opening statement about Lex Luger, the total package.
I felt
All
like I
right,
could have
with
rebutted some things in there,
10,
but
10
that's not the
seconds
format.
remaining here.
Oh,
Go ahead,
also,
Charlie.
also, I don't remember Sting ever slamming Yokozuna. Go ahead.
I really want to rebuttal some of those things. Let me know
Opening
when it's my
statement,
turn.
Charlie. Go ahead.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, the icon, the franchise, the man called Sting. He not only is better than Lex Luger in really every category that there is, but he has won more championships. He's a six-time WCW champion. He is oozing charisma. He is versatile. He's charismatic. He's a great promo, maybe the best look. He sold an entire pay-per-view. Just not only, he didn't even have to do matches. All he did was appearances, and all he did was stalk Hogan, and that sold a pay-per-view. He is a presence, and he's a better wrestler than Lex Luger, and I'm here to prove that today.
Great.
That's all I got.
Less than a minute, both of you. So
That's all right. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about the best qualities of Lex Luger. Okay.
Okay.
All right. The year
two
was
minutes.
the year was 1993. Okay. America was struggling as a country.
I know what
All
you're
right.
gonna say.
All right. And what happened was the narcissist Lex Luger, he was very depressed because he had a draw with Tatanka at the King of the Ring, and he's like, you know what, I'm better than that. I am better than that. So what happened while he was sitting there, and he turned on the TV and he saw that Yokozuna was standing there. For some reason, he had a closed circuit at his house because he's rich, and he saw that Lex Luger was standing there or that Yokozuna, I apologize, was standing in the ring, and all these weak Americans couldn't lift him up. And he's like, you know what? I need to get there. And he walked outside, and he lived in New York City at the time, of course. And he saw it said helicopter tours. So he walked in there into a helicopter, and he put $5,000 in cash down on the helicopter, and he said, "Hey, take me to the USS Intrepid." And so he went there, slammed Yokozuna, because I don't know if you knew this, but Japan was about to attack the United States until Lex Luger slammed him and backed them off. So then, apparently, Mr. Fuji paid off the referee at SummerSlam '93, so that's why they didn't win.
Oh
Cornette
gosh.
was involved
Oh my
too.
gosh.
Yes. So,
Oh my gosh.
but then you also got to understand, like everyone says, oh, Sting and Hogan, blah blah blah. When Lex Luger beat Hulk Hogan with the torture rack. It was the greatest moment in the history of WCW. The Randy Anderson, when he realizes that Hulk Hogan quit, he went like this. And then he called for the bell. The crowd pop was way bigger than Starrcade. You know why? Because Sting got pinned cleanly before Bret Hart came.
That wasn't his fault. That wasn't Sting's fault.
Time's up.
Sorry.
All right.
I cut you off there a couple seconds, Mikey.
Yeah, oh yeah, that wasn't very fair. All I know is if I watch that tape, and I watch it 1, 2, 3, that match is over.
Okay. Can I have a rebuttal now?
30
Sure.
seconds.
30 seconds. Look, Sting got Hogan politicked in that match, okay? And the count by Nick Patrick was awful. The finish is not Sting's. The finish of Starrcade was not Sting's bag. It could have been all it needed to be was a babyface finish, and Sting goes over. That's not necessarily a knock on Sting. That's a knock on the booking. That's a knock on the Hogan politics there. So I blame Bischoff for that. It's my rebuttal. Sorry, excuse me. And also, if you look at the slam, the Lex Express slam, Yokozuna jumps into his arms.
Time's up.
And they just try to make him Hogan again, basically.
Oh, so time doesn't mean anything. And you said that wasn't Sting's bag. Well, Sting had 2 bags like in his chest during that because he was so round when he showed up at that Starrcade match. He was so out of shape.
Well, let's not go down the drug route. Let's not go down the drug route.
I didn't say anything about. I didn't say anything about drugs.
We don't want to go down that. We don't want to go down that route.
I just said
people end up getting hurt. People end up getting hurt the Lex drug route, don't they? Miss Elizabeth.
Hang on. First off, that's out of line. Chris, can you do something about that?
All right.
Can you take a point away?
Here we go. We're going to give Charlie 2 minutes to explain the best qualities of Sting.
Okay. Look, Sting has never needed to be the next Hulk Hogan. That's what they tried to do with Lex. Hulk Hogan slammed Andre. So that's why they tried to force feed Lex down everyone's throat and they had him slam Yoko. It was like rinse and repeat. This is the new Mr. America, et cetera, et cetera. Sting has always been his own person. He has been a uniquely standout character, but when he was Surfer Sting, and talk about working with Flair, the 88 Clash of Champions draw that went really long, put Flair and Sting on the map in terms of ratings. He has reinvented himself multiple times. Sting, like I said, just the championships alone, he's won a title off of Luger as well. So he's worked with everyone. He even worked with people in a TNA phase, which I didn't even really watch. So like longevity. I mean, the man has been doing it for years. The man is still doing it. He is unique and he is his own person. Multiple shades of different personalities. So, and if we want to get into the drugs, yes, he's had his drug issues, etc. But so has Lex. And, we don't need to go down that route. But Sting is his own man, and he is a longevity workhorse. He's built his own resume, and it hasn't necessarily tried to be, the next reincarnation of Hulk Hogan. So that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, you have time to spare, but Mikey, we'll give you 30 seconds for our rebuttal.
Okay, yes. First off, this is not included in the 30 seconds. Please stop this. I'm talking about something else. Because this is in support of Sting, actually.
Okay.
Sting's prime was in TNA. So you are, if you're such a Sting fan, which apparently you're not, fraud, I think that you are robbing yourself of really good Sting matches, because that's like the best stuff that he had.
That's fair.
But okay, my Sting rebuttal starting now. Okay, little known fact. I actually found surveillance footage of Sting went over to the Luger house, and it was actually him behind the death of Miss Elizabeth.
Okay.
I saw
Release
footage.
the tapes, Mikey.
I can't. I sold them to National Enquirer, They wanted to get rid of the tapes. But yeah, like Lex is just better. Like look at his body, what he can do with his pecs. Who did Sting ever torture rack?
Sting has way cool. Sting has got cool finishing moves. I mean, I'll give you that torture rack. Cool finishing move. Lex didn't have Lex. What he just
Right,
was
you
10
know,
clotheslines on a torture rack. What else did he do in that?
Well, you know the burning hammer. Like the only reason that move exists is because people tried the torture rack, but they weren't strong enough, like Lex,
They
so they
weren't
fell
strong
over.
enough.
So they fell over, and that's how it was invented.
That's funny. Okay,
It's true.
I think we can maybe we each do like a closing statement then, because I feel like the second part of this is we've already kind of gone into a rant.
Okay, all right.
For that, you get a minute each. So go ahead, Mikey.
No, it says he goes first.
You can go first. I feel like I've been winning this, so I'll let you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Sting was a franchise player in only WCW. Lex was a franchise player in
TNA.
No, Lex was never in TNA.
No, Sting was.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Let's start my minute now.
Yes,
because he interrupted me. All right. No, but Lex Luger went to the WWF and became a top guy there. He fought against corporate greed, because I don't know if you knew this, but Lex Luger is like a giant, liberal human being, because when the $1 million corporation tried convincing me, like, still I hate Tatanka to this day because he convinced me that Lex Luger sold out, and I believed it. And like, so still to this day, I will motherfuck him in person. I'm calling you out, Chris Chavis. But like,
he knows all their names.
No, but like with Lex, it's like all of his matches were exciting too. And like Sting was also exciting. Like, I hate Bret Hart, I don't hate Sting. But like Lex just had like a different style of match all the time. And he evolved, like his character evolved in WCW. Like the later years, so everyone calls him the bad years. He was great then too.
Was that when he was wearing the black jeans only?
Yeah, that he was in the Wolf Pack and he had a goatee for some reason. But then he, like, when he was just a total package, he had like kind of like that suit on too, and just he always changed things up, and like he was always exciting. And now here's the most important thing: the most fan friendly person in the world. Sting charges $80 for a fucking autograph. And Lex Luger charges like maybe 30 or 40 bucks, and he'll sit and have a conversation, and he'll write anything you want, and he'll talk to you, and you could tell him stories, and he'll talk to you. Sting's gonna have you take a quick picture, not write anything, and just stare at you, because he doesn't, like, he's not about the fans. Lex Luger is about you fans.
Well, okay, all right, Charlie. Close this out. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, Sting, he's got a lot on his plate right now. I mean, he's still wrestling.
He did have more on his plate before the Hogan match, like a bunch on his plate.
Yeah, well, he probably can still wrestle, probably because he didn't join a bodybuilding federation and pump himself up full of roids, but that's fine. Sting, he repelled from a freaking helicopter, guys. Like, do I need to say more than that in my closing statement? Like, I don't think Lex was as versatile as you're making him out to be. I've watched many Lex Luger matches, and they are a lot of them are the same. And I think we can connect on that. They're both friends, these two wrestlers, and they're both good buddies. And I think they both turned to God and found God, which is great. Respect Lex as a person, but I think that Sting, just in all measurable categories, which is like look, promo, in ring, he beat, if you rate him on a 1 to 10 scale, he's beating Lex in all of those categories. Not only on all of them.
Torture rack ability.
Yeah, he had a cool submission, and he had a slam move, which is, so he could beat people multiple ways, whereas Lex, I guess, only had the torture rack, and if that didn't work out, he would just try forearms, which was pretty boring to watch. and he just looked like a
Oh.
dinosaur
Time's
out
up.
there.
How many times did he save America? All right, case closed.
All right. Well,
Oh, I didn't even mention
was
that. I didn't even mention that.
because you
that
didn't mention it because
that
time
wasn't
is up.
well. That wasn't well received, and then they didn't give him the belt because they're like, "Oh, actually,
I
people
am
don't
asking
like
for an
Lex."
additional 1 minute for us just to fucking argue about this. All right, here.
Just
Go
argue
ahead.
about that
Listen,
point
okay.
about why they built him up for a summer and then they said no, he's not connecting and he's not going to get the belt in WWF. Why did that happen?
He's not connecting.
With the
How
fans,
many times?
yeah.
Oh, hang on. So Sting, like he definitely came into the WWE, and what happened in his WrestleMania match? That's right, he lost. He lost to Triple H.
That was just a showcase match.
No, that was a
Like,
shoot.
It was
That was a shoot.
a show.
And
Once again, politics. Once again, politics. That's
hang
not
on, hang
Sting's
on.
fault.
And another
He's a
thing,
team player. He's a team
one thing
player.
I forgot to bring up as well. Who made the pin when they won the WCW tag team titles? Wasn't Sting. It was Lex. So Lex pretty much carried Sting the whole time
Okay.
as a partner. And also, like, I didn't want to have to bring this up, but like,
Oh no.
Sting is an ISIS. I'm sorry.
You know what? You brought up a couple things that I think need to be fact checked. I think you're spitting out some fake news there, Mike.
Possibly. Possibly.
Well, Mikey, I think you did a really good job.
Thank you. And I appreciate you competing with me, and I'm very sorry about your loss. Next time you take Bret Hart, and I will take literally anyone else.
No, we'll GPA. We gotta have GPA on to do the defending of Bret Hart. But I think you got a career in this and in these wrestling debates. So maybe we'll do another one in the future.
I'm like I want to go to bed, but I'm like pretty heated right now. Like I'm angry. Show is canceled on Saturday.
In fairness, I did write down bullet points yesterday.
See, that's the thing. I didn't even know. I didn't know.
I just needed a refresher. Mikey. But I feel like my points were still winning points.
And Chris, I don't know if you noticed, but like all those things he brought up about Sting, those are the only interesting things about Sting. And he probably had to do research for like 2 to 3 days.
No, I knew those.
Everyone
knows those things.
There's like a file with 3 pages of bullet points here.
Well, I did write down some things that you might say.
Oh my goodness, he cheated! You cheated! I still won, and you cheated. That's awesome.
No, we'll put it to the fans. We'll let them decide.
Okay, all right, yes.
We'll put it to the fans, but I think at the end of the day, the fans, if they attend BLP this Saturday at Bearwin,
they come say hi.
Say hi, enjoy the show. It's a great venue. And
get a picture with Too Cold.
There you go.
That's Mikey, thank you so much for joining us. But blpberwin.com. And
yes, for tickets. And if you like wrestling autographs, I have a Facebook group called Southern Wrestling Autographs. Make sure you guys join that group. I do auctions a couple times a week. So yes.
Wow.
Awesome.
Dang, that's a couple times a week. That's a lot. He's deep in the autograph game. I'm impressed.
Yes. All right, guys. I'm going to bed.
Okay.
I will
yes, thank you, Mikey.
All right, thank you.
Feel free we can close out. Feel free to log off if you need to. Thank you.
Yes, please do not. I'm going to listen to this. Do not bury me when I leave. Don't be like, oh my God, what a piece of shit. All right.
You've been great, dude. You've been great.
All right, thank you. All right,
appreciate you.
Bye.
Take care.
Oh God, that was fun. He was getting so pissed.
Hey, I mean, from an outsider looking in here, I'm not, biggest fan of either, but it was cool to see the back and forth.
I want to point out I'm not a Luger hater, but I just felt like there was just been a lot of slander online, and I felt like this was like this was just the right format to do this, and we just needed to get it out of our system. We've come to an agreement now. I think that I won.
That's right. So yeah, no, I think we all win just by being able to witness that debate. And I mean, again, it was an idea that you had obviously because Mikey's a good follow, and we get a lot
He
of
is a
good
great
content
follow on
there.
Twitter. Yeah.
So, this might, like you said, you called out GPA. GPA has to come in and defend Bret Hart. So we'll see if that happens.
Maybe a hard. I think Bret Hart versus Sting would be really tough, because I think Bret Hart has had a well. I think the WWE and the WWF mountain is a little bit higher in terms of like people's view, and like people could argue WCW, WWF, but like that's one company still going, and it resonates on the top of people's minds usually. And like Bret Hart climbed that mountain several times, so I think that would be a very, very hard debate to do. Like I think there's everyone's very hot or cold with Bret Hart. I'm actually might be the only one of the people that's kind of in the middle. You maybe
Yeah, I'm sort of in between too.
Yeah. But I feel like there's people that I would like to see Mikey and GPA go at versus Bret Hart stinks or Bret Hart was great. I think
if anybody's
maybe the better one.
Die-hard rock fan, I'm taking Stone Cold, and we can fight that one out.
Man, that one's really tough because like growing up, you didn't know when they wrestle each other WrestleMania, people were like, "Oh my god, I'm so torn." I don't know who to cheer for. That would be fun. We could go on for hours about like all the stuff that they've done. So
for sure. But Charlie, it's time to close us out. We need to get this episode out the door. BLP this upcoming Saturday. Once again, get your tickets at blpbearwin.com. And yeah, man, this was fun.
This was so much fun. I'm glad to have Mikey on. He's a great dude, and like we had very, I think, just a little rapport before this, and he ended up being a fantastic guest. So yes, blpberwin.com. Give them a shot. It's a great venue. You know that. And man, I'm a little sweaty now from that debating. So yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you follow BLP on Twitter at BLabelPro. And as far as us, you can follow us at 2 Heels in the Face. That's number 2 Heels in the Face on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as well. You can also check out 2heelsintheface.com for, podcast articles and other articles as well. And hopefully soon we'll see when the stars line up and we can have the buffet bracket champ.
Yeah, we have so many people that we need to have on. So I just expect good stuff. Thank you for following. Thank you for listening. I think there's a lot more to come. And you always use the hashtag Viva La Chico, of course.
Absolutely. Viva La Chico. He's collecting championships now, so support Chico.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.